Before the dawn of agriculture, early humans really had to work hard for their food. Archaeologists tell us that early hunters and gatherers spent so much time collecting food, they didn't have any time for leisure activity. There had to be a better way to get fruit. Today, farmers use all sorts of high-tech equipment to help them get the job done. But modern agricultural technology didn't get started until 1731. Jethro Tull, an English agronomist, noticed that plants seemed to grow better when the soil around them was tilled. Not one to horse around, he invented the seed drill, which really got things growing. Whoa. Agronomy. What a concept.
What is he doing?
So weird.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, girls. Hey, Derek.
What are you doing?
What's happening? Oh, I'm testing out some of these soil samples here. We're going to be starting a new garden in the backyard, and I want to make sure that we got the right kind of soil.
Testing soil?
Yeah.
Isn't it all the same? I mean, dirt is dirt, right?
No way. There's many different types of soil as there are plants. And try to grow a plant in the wrong type of soil is like, I don't know, raising chickens underwater.
Chickens underwater?
Well, maybe that's an exaggeration. Different plants need different types of soil, and soil isn't just dirt.
No, I mean, you got many kinds of soil. And in fact, if you guys have a couple of minutes, I can turn you all into professional dirtologists if you want.
Cool. I love any excuse to get dirty.
Kim is loving this. All right. We'll keep it simple right in the beginning. All right, 3 samples right up front. Okay. Kim, since you really like this, what's the difference between these 3 samples? Can you give me one?
Well, they're different colors. What'd you do to them?
I didn't do anything. The truth is, soil comes in a lot of different colors. It's not just dull brown, but you can have sort of orange-red, you could have beige, you could have deep brown. I've even seen it blue and green.
Blue and green?
Yeah.
Does it also come in paisley and polka dots?
No, but not polka dots. But I'll tell you, there have been some weird patterns. These things we call models, so they have patterns on them, too.
Well, aren't they just the same? I mean, they're all just like little rocks, right?
Yeah, but there's different minerals in rocks, and it's the minerals in the rocks that gives the soil different colors.
That's right. You are really into this stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Different minerals produce different colors. They also have different nutrients in them. So that's what helps to make plants grow. Now, the second test you're going to love. This is hands-on science.
Touch dirt.
Yeah! Don't be a party pooper here. Just get a handful of this. It's just, this isn't too bad. This is dry stuff. So you can try this. Now, run this around in your fingers. All right? And tell me how that feels.
It's like kind of
Gritty.
Yeah, it's like salt or something.
Yeah, okay. Now, Kim, you're going to love this. Take a handful of this.
Oh.
Go ahead. Come on. Just grab it. Come on. Oh, it's good stuff.
Yes.
All right, now slide that around in your hands. Now, how's that feel?
Oh, it's smooth.
It's like the stuff we do in art class.
Gooey.
All right,
The clay.
really kind of slimy and gooey. Okay, what do you think is causing the difference between the first sample and the second sample?
Well, I think that the first sample was probably made of sand, and the second was mostly clay.
That's exactly right. This first sample came from an area where we had a lot of sand, and this is almost all clay. So that balance between sand and clay, these are textures in the soil, That's what gives the plants the drainage. And if you don't have the right mix of sand and clay, plants aren't going to grow. Hi, Susanna.
Hi, how are y'all?
Good.
Hi.
Susanna, this is my daughter, Olivia. And she's going to be
Hi.
starting a garden with some of her friends. And I figured I'd bring her out and let her meet an expert gardener and find out some tips of the trade, see how it's done.
What are you planting here?
These are all herbs. They're from all over the world.
No offense, Susanna, but you got a lot of weeds in there, too. I think you should weed your garden a little more often.
Well, actually, herbs all started out as weeds until man became civilized and learned how to cultivate them.
So it's supposed to look this way.
Actually, yes, it
Oh,
is.
sorry.
Do you have to do anything with the soil first?
Yes, the soil is very important. Let me show you. If you look at the soil in this garden, it's 1/2 builder's sand, 1/4 peat, and 1/4 regular soil. And then on the top, I have put pine bark mulch, and the pine bark mulch keeps your soil from getting too hot because Louisiana summers, the temperature gets up to 92 degrees. It keeps the plants to where their roots can go down into the soil deeply so that it gets a lot of air because plants need oxygen in their roots.
Do you fertilize it?
You fertilize very little with herbs because the more fertilizer you use with herbs, the less flavorful the herb is. So actually, herbs like a very neutral soil, very little fertilizer.
What do you use some of these herbs for? There's a big variety I see all around.
The majority of these herbs are culinary herbs and some are medicinal. The majority of the herbs that we now cook with started off to be medicinal herbs. They were very good for your stomach. This is epazote, which is a Mexican herb. You put it in beans, and it's supposed to take the gas out of beans.
Well, that sounds like a good thing.
It's definitely a good thing in Louisiana because everyone in Louisiana loves their red beans. This herb is rue, which is from the Far East. They use it. It has a coconut flavor. This is a garlic chive, which is from China. It has an oniony garlic flavor, which everybody in Louisiana loves.
So now Olivia is setting up like a general garden, maybe some plants for flowers and maybe some herbs too. So what would be the best thing to start off with?
Well, I would start off with some garlic chives because that's a real easy herb and it's a real good tasting herb. I'd put me your sweet basil, which is also an excellent herb. Make your spaghetti sauce.
I was going to say,
out
I
of.
like that in spaghetti sauce.
It's wonderful. Majority of these herbs are fairly easy to grow. You just have to make sure that you get the proper drainage, and your soil is the most important thing. When you start your garden, you want to make sure that you get your mix proper. If you get your mix proper, your plants will do great. It's just like you. If you don't have the correct food, then you don't grow very well. If you mix your soil properly for your herbs, you'll have good, beautiful green plants, and they won't die on you.
Well, that should do it, all right? Yeah. You got a good idea now?
Uh-huh.
All right, well, thanks.
Thanks.
Susanna. And
Learned a lot.
come back and visit you again sometime.
Sure.
That's great. You know, soil is important from a drainage standpoint, but it also controls what nutrients are available for the plants. The minerals and the essential elements are actually what the plants are using.
Is that why some large farms have to add fertilizer?
That and the very act of harvesting a crop removes some of the minerals from the soil. When you eat an ear of corn, okay, where does this stuff come to make the corn?
Probably the soil and the water.
Yeah, most people don't think about it, but when you're eating corn, you're eating the minerals that were stored in the soil.
So the plants just take up the minerals from the soil?
Yeah, that's it. So every crop you have, it could be potatoes or corn or beets or Brussels sprouts or even peppers, all take the nutrients that come from the soil.
Is there anything special about the soil here?
Yes, the soils here on Avery Island are lighter soils and well drained, much different than the heavy soils out where they grow the sugar cane.
So peppers need a lot of drainage.
Yes, they do, and they also need a lot of water.
So you got a nice balance here between rainfall and drainage.
That's
well,
right.
If they need water, don't they need fertilizer?
Sure, and we do apply fertilizer here. Two types. We use a regular commercial fertilizer, and we also plow under green manure crops in our rotation program.
Now, by green manure, you're talking about plants that you're just growing to plow under. You don't harvest them or anything.
That's right.
Isn't that sort of a waste of effort to plant just to plow it under?
Well, not really. We get two benefits from these green manure crops. One is we improve the soil structure, and the other, we add nutrients back to the soil, so we have to use less commercial fertilizer.
Is there any other place where you grow them?
Yeah, most of the peppers for mash are grown in South America. However, here at Avery Island, we do grow all of the peppers for seed. Each year, we start here in January with seeds from last year's crop. We use a commercial seeding mix that has peat moss and other extra fertilizer added. Each tray has 64 cavities. Once we have the trays filled, then the holes are marked in the center of each cavity. And then we come back and we place 2 to 3 seeds in each cavity. The seeds are covered up, and then after they germinate, then we pull out the weakest seeds and just leave the one strongest plant in each cavity. 2 months from now, we'll take them out to the field, and that's this year's pepper crop.
Is there any difference from a pepper grown here versus where do you grow?
Say in Colombia, for example.
So a Colombian pepper, does it have any other taste difference than an Avery Island pepper?
Wouldn't be any flavor differences because we're using the same variety, but we do occasionally see a difference in the heat levels, which is the Scoville measurement.
Whoa, Scoville unit? What's that? Is that like a BTU unit for peppers?
Right. It's a test that was developed many years ago to measure the heat level of peppers, and then it's converted into Scoville units.
Okay, so how hot is a Tabasco pepper?
Well, Tabasco pepper runs 40 to 50,000 Scoville units.
And what?
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno?
Jalapeno, 3,000 to 4,000.
Oh.
Gosh.
What's a hot pepper? What's the hottest pepper?
Well, the Mexican habanero.
And where's that?
300,000.
300?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I see all these people picking here. What do they do when they're done with the peppers?
Okay, at the end of the day, they come out to the row, they clean and sort their peppers, they're weighed and hauled up to the grinding station where we grind it up into mash. Then the mash is put back in the warehouses, aged for 3 years, and then processed into Tabasco sauce.
Now that we talked about some of the properties of soil, Kim, you think you maybe want to start a garden of your own?
Cool, a garden sounds great, but there's only one problem.
What's that?
We don't have a big yard.
Well, can't we just make a container garden? I mean, we've got some stuff right here.
Yeah, well, you could take that trough back there.
Yeah.
And we got some soil. Okay, this is cool. And just lay that down. Now, how do you think we have to get started in here?
Well, since drainage is important to plants, we should use some gravel.
Okay, so, Olivia, we got the bucket of gravel. All right, and what we'll do is let's get some gravel first. Can you do this? All right, pour that in. Okay, and go ahead, Kim. Dump away. All right, try to keep some of it in the bucket. Okay, good.
Well,
all right, just mix that up now. Go ahead. Come on,
Can
get
we
it.
transport these plants over here?
Sure. Okay. Spread out the soil good. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to have to do is, okay, Derek, you got a nice little hole going there. So let's get this one in here. And now what we're going to have to do is get them untangled, first of all. And let's just lift up the whole thing, roots and all. And we'll put it right in here.
What's that white stuff?
That's perlite. That's something that they put in potting soil to keep it from getting too clumpy. Okay, Derek, yeah, pack that in on that side. That's good. All right. You want to do one over here?
Sure.
All right. Get one right in
Pull
there.
it up right by the roots.
Yeah, just very gently, and pull the whole thing out. That's right. And now we're going to have to set in some more soil around it. That's right. Now we got that good gravel base. Derek, scoot that out on that side.
You can set up your own herb garden at home without even having a backyard. Get a few large buckets, some peat moss, sand, and a bag of topsoil. Mix in equal portions of each and fill the bucket about 2/3 full. Transplant some seedlings that are available in most nurseries. Water well and place in a sunny spot. Try experimenting with several kinds to see which one works best.